Architecture was never in my mind, when I was a kid, man, I just liked to draw, And then I started thinking about what am I going to do when I go to college. And I think my dad knew somebody from Public Works, and he was a good draftsman, and then he was showing me, his lettering, and I said, wow, what nice lettering. But the turning point, I think, in my life, to go to school actually was, so when I was 13 years old, right, my aunt, my uncle has a hearing problem, so they were going to go to Japan and get some surgery done, right? And he said, we need somebody, to be kind of like a second year, And I was chosen to go, so man, we got on the plane, and back then, man, it was all, the prop planes, so it took forever to get there. Actually, that was my first time on a plane, So we got to Japan, and then we were driving, I guess, from the airport. It must have been a taxi. And from the airport to the hotel, man, I was looking out the window, and I seen these big buildings, tall buildings, I said, stuff you see on TV, but you never would imagine that I would be in that place where you'd be looking at these buildings, and, they were right there, right? And I said, God, I want to be a part of this in the future. And then I think that's what got me to thinking, maybe, I gotta go off island and go to school, maybe, do something that has to do with what makes this place. So that, I think that was probably 13 years old, when I did that. I says, man, I want to be a part of this. And that's probably the turning point when I said, When we draw something, it's not the stuff that comes right out of the box, right? Then we massage it and then come up with a better idea and say, man, let's go for it. So we change it. Okay, what if we did it this way? Hey, if it's a good idea and it's not built and it's still in the drawing phase, let's change it, make it better. Even the museum, as it goes up, I'm always going there now because, if there's things that I didn't see right, I say, hey man, if there's a chance we can improve on it, We're just adding things now that will make it look better, and luckily it's not going to cost a lot of money. The museum is a very important building about who we are, So on the left side is the Whanaoga Chamorro, and then I read Horao's speech, and Horao's speech, man, tells the people of Guam, and you can see what he said. He says, we are fine, we are better than we think we are. We don't need these guys. So that's really important. That's basically the goal of that building is, man, if we're going to do something, man, it's got to be done correctly. And it says, and the building should say, this is us, the Chamorros. It's right downtown. It's a public building, and it's right smack, right in the middle. You look at Skinner Plaza, right? It's open, right? And first, the other thing is, it was a controversial thing because it was a park and nobody wants to build anything because we want to leave it open. But the idea, okay, it was a given that the governor and a couple of the senators say this is where we want it. So given that, you want to make sure that you've done the best to appease the government, right? But yet appease the public. So the idea of the museum is to take as little land as possible so that you can leave the rest for that open space. And if you look at the design of that, look at that, man, almost half of it is open space. So they can still do the movies there. It's actually better now because we got rid of the ceremonial things right in the middle, all that pavement, right? It's just more ceremonial. So now in that open space, anything can happen. A concert, whatever. Before or after the concert or whatever it is, function, you can go into the museum and check on, history of who we are and where we came from and